Do 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 do. Hi, how you doing there? Person of facts and logic and common sense. And this video is about the Fujifilm X-T4. Actually, I've been doing an enormous amount of testing on this camera. A lot. Posted up quite a few images from it. Been testing eye autofocus, countless other things. I can say one thing definitively, and that's that Fujifilm is going to sell the hell out of this camera. But unlike what some people possibly think, you know, Fujifilm doesn't pay me, and I state the facts about cameras because that's what actual people, you know, don't tune into me for my handsome good looks, which I don't have, and my awesome personality. You know, they want to know the facts because I have no affiliate links and I don't sell anything. There's only one issue with this camera, and it's not the camera itself. The camera is absolutely awesome. It's like an X-T3 on steroids with IBIS, fully articulating screen, much larger improved battery, countless other features, especially an enormous amount, even though I'm not a video guy, enormous amount of video features and other things, but this isn't a review video. There's one issue with this camera, and I'd actually like to address this to Fujifilm and state four logical, empirical, undeniable, objective facts why this is an issue on the X-T4, and I hope they address this. And I've also found, I came up with this myself, a workaround how they could fix this, and it's regarding battery charging. There is not an external charger with the X-T4. There needs to be an external charger with the X-T4. First off, there'll be a certain percentage of people, and of course I buy a vertical grip with everything, be a certain percentage of people that will not buy the vertical grip for the X-T4, same as there was for the X-T3 and X-T2. But this is, by the way, for those of you who don't know, and I'm actually borrowing this camera, this isn't my X-T4. The X-T4 actually comes with this miniature USB-C charging block, and it comes with a USB-C to USB-C cable, and of course you plug this in, you plug it into the USB-C port, and you charge the internal battery for the camera, and if you have the vertical grip attached, it'll charge all three batteries. And at the very last point, I'll tell Fujifilm how they could do a very, very inexpensive workaround, but there has to be a way to charge the battery for the X-T4 independent of the camera. And these are the four reasons. First, this is the first Fujifilm camera, like when I got my X Pro 3. You know, it didn't come with an independent charger either, but that's not a problem because I have lots and lots of Fujifilm chargers for the old type battery, so it's no big deal. I'll just grab one of the old ones. This is the first Fujifilm camera with a completely new type of battery, but there is no external charger for it. And yes, I know about that $69 charger, and I will buy that too. This is not about having to buy that, but there'll be a lot of people that don't buy, you know, the vertical grip for the X-T4, not because there's anything wrong with it, but because they just are not a vertical grip person. Because this is the first, and this is only point number 1 out of 4, because this is the first Fujifilm camera with a completely new battery, it absolutely, undeniably does need a charger for it. Number 2, this creates a problem for anybody that say, you know, let's say this is, you know, I'm Joe Blow and I just bought an X-T4, which of course comes with one battery, which is not a problem. But you can't actually like purchase an additional battery or two at the time and do anything because you're down. You actually have to take the physical camera and plug it in to charge the batteries. You can't be like out, you know, out and about and say, well, I'm going to charge my batteries, you know, in the, you know, the plug-in 12-volt socket with an adapter while I'm out shooting. You can't do that. Your camera is frozen, if you will, because you're needing it to charge the internal battery. And that creates a problem for people that want to, you know, have multiple batteries with the purchase of their X-T4, and they want to use their camera while the other batteries are charging. So that's point number 2. And I've mentioned this in my Fujifilm book on point number 3, and this is due to strange power supplies and strange adapters, and also too with power surges. I have stated this in my Fujifilm book, since when you plug this into USB-C port for charging of the battery, just like you can with the X-T3, it sends the charge across the main board. And if there's a power surge or if there's an issue with your adapter, then what that will do is it'll cause damage to the main board, which is basically 80% of the camera. I am a firm believer, for empirical reasons, as a person that's an expert in field theory and wrote a book on field theory, that and I've told people never to charge across the main board unless they can not avoid it. Just never do that. You shouldn't charge across the main board. Point number 4 is that new Fujifilm users, like someone, they're like, I don't get in photography, or I'm going to switch systems or whatever. New Fujifilm user needs the whole single camera ecosystem, because they're going to sell the X-T4 with, this lens, a 16-80 or whatever kit lens Fujifilm's aside. They need the whole ecosystem in the box, because this is an important point for Fujifilm, and I know Fujifilm watches my videos. Are you listening, Fujifilm? This is an important point. A lot of people have told me that, this camera, has everything that I've been waiting for, the X-T4. And this is, because I've been testing it now for like a week and a half, this camera is awesome. I really mean that. Like I said, and this is going to be their new Fujifilm camera. And people that are new into Fujifilm, they need the whole camera ecosystem of what the camera is. It's not only is it a new battery, and that's really, even point number 1 that I made, is really the reason why there does need to be a charger in the box for the X-T4. But I've got a workaround for that. Right as soon as I'm done here, I'll tell Fujifilm and others how Fujifilm could fix that without having to change anything else, because I know that there's like bazillions of these things in boxes on the X-T4 right now. But new Fujifilm users need the whole camera ecosystem in the box, if they don't want to buy a grip. And it has to happen, because everybody's going to buy an X-T4 since it's a new battery. Everybody. Fujifilm needs to listen to this too, and it's important. Every Fujifilm user that buys an X-T4, because it's a completely new battery, is not going to buy just one battery, they're going to buy many. So what they're going to do is they're going to buy lenses, whatever lenses in the kit. So they're going to have like 3 or 4 batteries, but they're going to have no way to use their camera at the same time they're charging their batteries, and that's a problem. Here is the workaround. Me being the person that solves problems. I used to solve problems for various places. Used to fix cameras and computers, and fix laptops. HP's #1 person in tech support at Apple for the MacBook Air there for quite a while. Here's how Fujifilm can fix this. Since they're not going to change this out for something else, and I've seen a lot of systems that work this way, is they can add this $20 little box. You've seen them on eBay, whatever. They're just, since there has to be a no chipset inside the box, because all of it's right here, goes directly from your power supply to USB-C, it's just a little tiny $6 box, and wholesale price and ordering 10,000 or 20,000, I don't remember however many Fujifilm has to order, would be maybe $1 or $2, maybe at that. And so that means that Fujifilm could keep everything in the X-T4 box that is already in the X-T4 box, but add that additional little $6, it would be retail price would be $6. A wholesale price for a manufacturer like Fujifilm that orders, 30,000 of them or whatever, it would be like $1, maybe $1.50, for a good one. And then what they would do is they'd plug this in the wall, and then they would plug this in that into the little box that Fujifilm should stick in the X-T4 box for charging the X-T4 new battery, because this is a completely new battery. And that is not only a brilliant solution for this issue, but it also is, we're talking about less than $2 for Fujifilm. But because of those 4 very important reasons, I think Fujifilm, because Fujifilm, I found out from a guy who had a meeting with a really big Fujifilm executive, Fujifilm changed around their lens caps because of me. All these new flat lens caps instead of the old rounded puffy ones, that's because of me. A really, really big guy that I won't tell you his name, he had a meeting with a Fujifilm executive, and she was talking about, I won't tell her name, she's a Fujifilm executive in Japan. He works in Tokyo. Talking about a tattooed guy on YouTube that made a logical plea, if you will, and I did back 2 years, or 2.5, 3 years ago, saying that Fujifilm needed to change their lens caps, and they did. Fujifilm does listen, and their lens caps are a lot better. I love Fujifilm, And I'm not complaining at all. I'm actually giving 4 logical reasons that I did in this video why that is something that needs to be corrected, but that's not part of the camera, which is good. I mean, no one wants to hear is like, well, this camera's got a problem, because it's like, well, it's not the camera, it's just what is not in the box for the X-T4. Obviously, I've not done a full review yet, and this is only a pre-production X-T4, and this camera is flipping incredible. I really, really mean that. And because the fact that there are basically nobody out there, my computer screen is too freaking close to my elbows, because there's not really any X-T4s out there pre-production that people are talking about. I know Fujifilm people are going to watch this video because I'm going to talk about something that the X-T4 needs, not the camera itself, but when I say X-T4, it's about what's included in that black box. And that's nice that this is included, but there are 4 reasons why Fujifilm does need to stick. Technically there's 6, but 2 of them are very, very nuanced, so I just listed the 4 major reasons, as I already did in this video. Fujifilm does need to include an external battery charger for the X-T4. I mean, they really do. And I am myself, because I always buy a vertical grip. I am going to buy the vertical grip, and of course I'm going to buy, several batteries for whatever. And I'm going to buy also, too, that dual charger. Now, if you say, well, Fujifilm already has an external charger, it's that $69 dual charger. It's like, you're right, but you're still completely wrong on that point. And the reason why you're wrong is because it's $69, and someone that's new to Fujifilm, they need the whole ecosystem for the camera in the box, with the X-T4. It is very, very important that it be in there. There's psychological reasons for this, and there are nuanced reasons for this. I know about that $69 dual charger for charging 2 of these that Fujifilm is making. Well, they're not making them. I'm 100% certain they subcontracted out for the manufacturer that same way Nikon does, which is not a problem at all. But there's going to be a lot of people that are just going to buy the camera and a few spare batteries, 1 or 2 lenses, maybe just the kit lens. They need that an external charger in the box. But that is a very, very cheap workaround, a plug-in box for the end of this USB-C cable, instead of doing a throughput through the main board, which is as it is currently, where you actually plug in to the USB-C port. And I've done a lot of shooting with this, but the battery life is really good, but I've only got the 1 battery, which is fine, but I can't actually, if I had 2 batteries, I could not charge 1 battery and go use the camera. And so, and also too, I don't believe in charging across the main board for valid empirical reasons, as I already mentioned. So I know I repeated myself a couple times in this video, but the camera is incredible. It really is, and boy do I mean that. Like I said, I have no affiliate links, not getting paid by Fujifilm, and they're like, actually, there's very few people that think that. People, whether they like me or not, they know I actually give, honest conclusions about a camera. But that's an important one that if Fujifilm can't actually stick in that little inexpensive add-on to create an external charger, they could possibly give a voucher and say, well, we need, a few months to ramp up, and we'll make these wherever. And then, get yourself by for a month or so, and then you take this voucher to your camera store or turn it in or something if they don't have the time to stick it in the box. But since the X-T4 is delayed by about roughly a month or so, they might be able to do that. But this is just my message to Fujifilm. You do need an external charger in the box for those 4 reasons that I stated. I was very honest and straightforward about everything in this video. But the camera itself is wonderful. I mean, my God, the camera's awesome. And Fujifilm's going to sell the hell out of this camera. And I am not saying that. I don't say that lightly. In fact, there's one thing I love to do. I love to rip into a camera if it deserves to be ripped into, but I got nothing but praise for this thing. Camera is incredible. I love the long battery life and the charger battery too, but still. Anyway, I think I made my point, and I repeated myself 2 or 3 times. So, thank you so much, and peace out. It's like hot today. I drove with the top down, blasting the music on my hot rod. It was like 80 degrees. It was so hot and nice, you know. Put on a sleeveless hoodie, put on my sunglasses, jumped in the little red hot rod, put the roof down, and... Bye.